What's up, guys? This is Theo. Welcome back to part 2 in the CodeCademy AngularJS walkthrough series I'm doing. So here we are, and let's click continue. And we are going to go back to part 1, directives 1, and I've already done this, but I'm going to restart it so I can show you guys how to do it. And my sort of approach is to just jump right in, and I'll explain as best as I can. But you can always go in here and read what they have to say about it. So our first instruction, as soon as this resets, is in the new file, JS directives app info.js. So we go JS directives app info.js. Okay, it's empty. We're going to type in this code. What this does, this grabs our app and says, hey Angular, I want to create a directive. The first parameter I want to give it is the name of app info, and the second is what to do when it's run. So this is going to be the body of your directive, aka an HTML element or attribute that you're building. Okay, so this says we want to restrict it to an element, but you can also have, attribute here, comment, or class, whatever you want. Scope, we've talked about scope. This is saying, okay, I'm going to look for a property on your directive in your HTML called info, because it has an equal sign here, where we can expect it to one-way bind in that we will grab this info, or we have access to that info here in our directive. And lastly, this key of template URL says, okay, Angular, I want to use this HTML file, because I don't want to muddy up this file right here with my HTML. So go out and use JS directives appinfo.html to run my HTML, and everything inside of here will be my template. So let's run that, make sure we're good to go. And looks good. So 2, include the new JavaScript file in index.html in line 48 as a script element. So we're going to include it here. So we're going to say script, and then the script source is JS directives, and it is appinfo.js. So let's make sure we run that correctly. And that's correct. And then 3, in the new file, the template, we're going to go in here, app info. We're going to type this in. This is our template. So you can see, we're giving it source of info.icon, title. We have all these bindings in here. So as you can see, info is the one-way binding. So cool. And that's how, we're going to get access to all these values. We're going to pass in an object. So let's run this real quick. And we got it. And it's good to go. So 4, on index.html, let's go back here. Replace the contents of the first card div with a new app. Let me see. Let's open up these. Let's see. We need anything else opened up. Let me open this up. The body, and so the first class of card div with the new app info. Okay, so card ends there. Now you can see, we're able to write so many fewer lines of code. Here's our key of info. We're binding move here, and if we look in app.js, what is move? Well, we haven't created move yet, but we'll see in a second. Actually, I think we do have it. Main controller. Move is an object, and that's how it's getting all this information. So really cool. Here it is. Do the same for the second and third card divs. Replace their contents with info, shutterbug, and gameboard. So let's go back in here, and so we see we have this card. We're going to get rid of this, and we're going to come in here, and we're going to replace this with shutterbug. And then finally, we're going to come in here, write one more, and we're going to replace this with gameboard. So now we sort of understand what they're binding to. And let's make sure this is wired up and correctly works. So it does indeed work with all of them. Move, let's see, move inc, gameboard. Okay, cool. All right, now let's move on. So This is just talking about all the stuff I've said, template URL, scope, restrict, so you can read that if you want, but we're just going to move on. And I think this is important to read. Why create your own directives? Readability lets you write expressive HTML. You can understand the app's behavior just by reading the HTML. And reusability, a whole architecture of web development, software engineering. I don't care what you're doing. It's very important to make reusable components so that later on you become more efficient, you know? I mean, there are a lot of things about an MVC framework that, like the mean stack, it takes a while to get it set up. But once you have that set up and that sort of scaffold, you can get off the ground running really quickly, you know? So that's why. So in the controller, there's a new property called scope.forecast. Display this property in the view by creating another div class card element containing an app info element. Okay, so let's do that. So let's create another div class card, and we sort of understand the pattern at this point. We are going to bind forecast to it. Let's run that. Make sure this is good to go. Cool. Next, all right. So in the controller, create a new property called scope.apps. All right, so let's do that. And what are we going to set this equal to? We're going to set this equal to an array of objects. This is like our mock JSON at this point. And then let me give it a semicolon down there. And then I'm going to add 2 more objects to the array. Let's make sure this works. It's good to go. 2 more objects to the array. So let's give this a comma. I'm lazy, so I'm just going to do that and that. And there we go. And let's make sure that's good to go. Cool. In the view, use ngRepeat to loop through scope.apps. So let's do that. And display each element. To do this, add an ngRepeat to a div class card, and then use the custom directive app info to display each element. All right. So let's see. Scope.apps. So it looks like what we're going to do is add an ngRepeat to div class card. Looks like what we can do now is, I think we can div class card. Hold on, let me see if we can. Class card, div class card. I think we can. We'll do this. Class card equals card. ngRepeat. And we'll say app and apps. And then what we'll do is we'll say app info. App info, or what's it called? App info equals app. I think. Let's make sure this works. What is it saying? App and apps. Use ngRepeat to loop through scope.apps and display each element. To do this, add ngRepeat to a div class of card, and then use the custom directive app info. Why are we not? Div ngRepeat app and apps. Let me get rid of this though, real quick. Div class card. Div class card. Class card. ngRepeat app and apps. All right, cool. Yeah, so it just wanted us to get rid of that. So what we did is we bound to apps, and then we said, okay, app info. We know you have a key that you can bind to on your directive. So in this case, it's going to be app, and app is just going to represent each one of these elements in this array. So the first time through, it's going to grab this object. Second time, this object. Third time, this one. Fourth time, that one. So cool. Let's move on. In the new file, JS directives install app.js. Install app.js. Create a new directive named install app. Install app, refer to the app info. So we're going to say app.directive. And then remember the first name is app info, or sorry, install app. And then the second is a function. And then what this does is this is going to return an object. And with that object, let me close this out, we are going to restrict it to be an element. We're going to set scope. We're going to give it an isolate scope. So it's going to have its own scope. And then finally, we're going to give it its own template URL. and this is going to link to JS directives install app.html. So let's make sure this is set up correctly. I'm guessing maybe the file path won't be right, but let's make sure. Okay, cool. Looks good. 2, we now want to include our script. So let's go back in here, and down with directives, we're going to include our new directive. So we're going to say script source equals, and then close it out, and we're going to say JS directives, and it's going to be called install app.js. So let's run that. Make sure this is good to go. Cool. And then 3, in the install app directive, add a 4th option named link and type in the following function. Okay, so I will explain this. Basically, a link function allows you to, it's sort of like a controller. It allows you to sort of have access to these variables that we're creating and do stuff with them, access to the scope, the element, and the attributes. So we'll say link, okay, and this is a function which takes in scope, element. Element is the element that you're on, so if you put your directive on a container, it's that container. Attributes are all the attributes you set up. So in this case, we don't have anything, but if we had, let me go back and I will show you the app info. Like here, and we would have, if we made a link here, we could log out attributes.info, and we would get whatever is bound to that. Okay, so scope, element, attributes. I'm not going to type all of this out, but let me grab this. And am I missing one? Function, scope button. Oh, okay, let me grab that and paste that in there, and let's look at what this is doing actually. And let me just copy and paste it. Link is a function, because I don't want to mess this up. It's a function. Let me just do it like that. What is it saying? Expected an assignment call. Link is a function. Let me go back. Scope, elements, attributes. It's still barking. Link is a function. Why is it giving me that? Directive, function, return. Let me think. A 4th option named link, okay. And why is it complaining about that? Unmatched. Oh, it wants it there. Link. Huh. Okay. Oh, it's because that, right. Link function, scope, element, attributes. And then now I can grab all of this. Make sure it doesn't bark about that. What is it saying now? Ah, crap. Okay, hold on. What does it not like? I don't understand. Someone expression. This is frustrating. Link function. Right. Yeah, all right. That's frustrating. Let me. Hmm. What do I have wrong? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just gonna type it out like manually so we don't mess this up. Okay, so it's a function which takes in scope, element, and attributes, and scope.button text. Sorry about this, guys. Equals install. And then we have scope.installed equals false. We have scope.download equals a function. And what does this do? It's a function. What is it saying now? Scope.download function. Element.toggle class button active. Why is it complaining about that now? That's strange. Kind of confused, to be honest, why it's not working. Let me just go to the I'm gonna go to the forum real quick and see what they have for it, because this is being really stupid. I'm not sure what it is. Let's go to 5 and look at that real quick and see what it is. Alright, let's grab this real quick. Let's just try out this code real quick. So link is a function. Let's grab this whole thing. And that's frustrating. I'm not sure. Get the space between link and like. Alright, still trucking along here. Let's see if. I wonder if it's just indentation. I'm also not sure why it's goofing up on me. What does it say? Missing. It's false. Why is it giving me that error? That's really odd, man. I don't really understand that. Oh, maybe, yeah, that's what it is. Does not like those, yeah, it doesn't like those commas. Let's go with this. It's being stupid. Here we'll say if scope dot installed, and then we'll go down here and say scope dot button text equals install, and then we'll say scope dot installed equals false, else what do we want to do? We want to say scope dot button text equals uninstall. We'll say scope dot installed equals true. Alright, let's try and run that. That looks like it's good. I don't know why that took so freaking long to get. Did you add the function install app.js? I thought I did, but yeah, it was the semicolons. Let me just include this. People are saying to include this in the HTML. I don't know why it should work without that, but yeah, it's already in there. Install app.js, JS directives, install app.js, install app.js. Just include it up here, I guess. I'm not really sure why that's not working. You add the function to install app.js. Alright, let me just refresh it. Really sorry about this, guys. I'll probably make another video if this doesn't work for us. Let me run this one more time, otherwise I'm gonna have to work, or I can't tell. Add the function to install app.js. Scope it download. Yeah, I did. Link function. I don't understand that. Alright, let's look one more time. Let's try this code out real quick. This is getting pretty frustrating. I'm going to end it here if it's not working. Yeah, alright guys. I'm going to have to come back to this one. Honestly not sure why it's like tripping up, but hope you guys enjoyed the video anyways. We only have a few more sections in this, so I'll fix it up and make another video. But yeah, guys, sorry about that. Hopefully you learned a little bit. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And please subscribe. Stay tuned for more. Thanks. Have a great day.